In my sights. Point the way. Moving with pleasure. In my sights. Steady. With pleasure. Point and shoot. In my sights. Fire! Moving. In my sights. Taking aim. Like a bullet. With pleasure. In my sights. Point and shoot. Moving.
In due time.
Like a bullet. Moving. With pleasure. In my sights. Point the way. Like a bullet. Point the way. Moving. Point the way. Fire! Attack! Ah! Let loose! Moving like a bullet. In my sights. Moving. Point the way. Point and shoot. In my sights. Moving. Attack! Like a bullet. Moving. Point the way. Point and shoot. In my sights. Like a bullet. Point and shoot. With pleasure. Point the way. Fire when ready. Let loose! Moving with pleasure. Point and shoot. Fire! Moving, steady, with pleasure. Point and shoot. Like a bullet. Point the way. With pleasure. Point and shoot. Point the way. In my sights. Point and shoot. With pleasure. Moving. Point and shoot. Moving. Fire! Steady. Like a bullet. With pleasure. Like a bullet. Point the way. Moving. Point the way. With pleasure. Attack! Fire! And shoot. In my sights. Attack! Steady. Like a bullet. With pleasure.
Very well.
Point the way. Taking aim. Moving. Point the way. Moving. In my sights, with pleasure. Attack! Point the way. With pleasure. Point and shoot. Fire! With pleasure. Moving with pleasure. Steady. Moving like a bullet. Point and shoot. Attack! With pleasure. Let loose! Like a bullet. Point the way. With pleasure. Moving. Point the way. Like a bullet. Attack! Fire! Moving. Like a bullet. Point the way. In my sights. Moving. With pleasure. Point and shoot. Point the way. Moving. Point and shoot. Like a bullet. with pleasure. Taking aim. Point and shoot. Point the way with pleasure. Point the way. Moving like a bullet with pleasure. Fire! Oh! Moving in my sights with pleasure. Point and shoot with pleasure like a bullet. In my sights. Attack! Let loose! Moving in my sights. Point and shoot. In my sights, like a bullet, with pleasure. Point and shoot. With pleasure. In my sights, moving, point the way. Fire when ready. Fire! With pleasure. Attack! Point the way. In my sights, point and shoot. Point the way. In my sights, moving like a bullet. Point the way. With pleasure. Moving. Point the way. Point and shoot. Moving like a bullet. In my sights. Moving with pleasure. Steady. Point and shoot. In my sights. Like a bullet. Moving. Fire with pleasure. Attack! Like a bullet. Point the way with pleasure. In my sights, moving like a bullet. Moving. Let loose. Steady with pleasure. Taking aim. Moving like a bullet with pleasure. Moving. Let loose! With pleasure. Point and shoot. Point the way. Attack! Fire! Let loose! With pleasure. Like a bullet. In my sights. Steady with pleasure. In my sights. Attack! With pleasure. Like a bullet. In my sights. Point and shoot. Point the way. With pleasure. Moving. Steady. Like a bullet. In my sights. Moving. Point the way. With pleasure. In my sights. Moving.
All is lost.
shoot. In my sights. Moving. Attack! Point the way. Fire! Taking aim. With pleasure. Steady. Point the way. In my sights. Moving. Attack! Like a bullet. Steady. Moving. Like a bullet. With pleasure. Moving. Like a bullet. Point the way. Point and shoot. My sights. Let loose! Fire when ready. Moving like a bullet, with pleasure. Like a bullet. Steady. In my sights, taking aim. With pleasure. Attack! Moving, point the way. With pleasure. Let loose! Point and shoot. Moving like a bullet. With pleasure. Point and shoot. In my sights. Moving like a bullet. Point and shoot. With pleasure. Point the way like a bullet. Moving. Attack! With pleasure. Like a bullet. In my sights. With pleasure. Point and shoot. Too easy. Point the way. Moving like a bullet. Point and shoot. Point the way. Steady like a bullet. Fire! Point the way. Shoot! Like a bullet. Moving. Into the head. Steady. With pleasure. Moving. Attack! Steady. Fire! Like a bullet. Steady. Moving with pleasure. Point and shoot. In my sights. Moving with pleasure. Like a bullet. Attack! Point and shoot. Taking aim. Point the way. Like a bullet. Moving. Fire! Like a bullet. Steady. Moving. With pleasure. Moving. Like a bullet. With pleasure. Point and shoot. In my sights. Moving like a bullet. Moving. Attack! With pleasure. Moving. Like a bullet. Point the way. Moving. Steady. Attack! Like a bullet. With pleasure. Like a bullet. With pleasure. Moving. Like a bullet. With pleasure. Steady. Like a bullet. Point the way. Fire! In my sights. Like a bullet. Moving. Steady. With pleasure. Attack! Point Point and shoot with pleasure. Point and shoot. Steady. Moving like a bullet. Attack! In my sights. Moving in my sights with pleasure. Point and shoot. Point the way with pleasure. Moving. Let loose! Steady. Point the way like a bullet with pleasure. Attack! Steady. Point and shoot. Point the way with pleasure. Attack! Fire! Fire when ready. Like a bullet. Moving.
Let's get moving. I'm on the train.
Aye. Point the way. Point and shoot. Steady. Like a bullet. With pleasure. Attack! Point and shoot. Moving. Like a bullet. Let loose! With pleasure. Steady. Point and shoot. Like a bullet. In my sights. Shoot! Moving like a bullet. Point the way. Moving with pleasure. My sights. Attack with pleasure. Let loose! My sights. Steady. Moving. Let loose! Like a bullet. Fire when ready. Taking aim. With pleasure. Moving with pleasure. Moving. Let loose! For our fathers! Like a bullet. With pleasure. Point the way. With pleasure. Point and shoot. With pleasure. Fire! Taking aim. Steady. You missed that one. Let loose! Attack! Fire! Steady! Attack! Shoot! Taking aim. Steady! In my sights. Attack! Too easy. With pleasure. Point and shoot. Taking aim. With pleasure. Shoot! Taking aim. In my sights. Fire when ready. Shoot! Fire! Shoot! With pleasure. Point the way. Attack! Steady! With pleasure. Taking aim. Steady. Like a bullet. Attack! Point the way. Moving. Steady. Fire! Like a bullet. In my sights. Attack! Let loose! Point the way with pleasure. Fire when ready. Shoot! Fire!
Victory
Point
is
and
ours!
shoot! In my sights,